Hello everybody, my name is Kyler Raptor and holy crap is this the worst video I could ever see. Thank you random person on Discord. But yeah, if you can't tell by the title, Dungeons and Dragons was never good and is an insult to real fantasy fans. I'm gonna rip this band-aid off and let's get right into it.
D&D is not and never has been good.
The first words out of his mouth. Harman, I'm just gonna say this. The only bad addition when it came to D&D happens to have been fourth edition. Okay, D&D it has not just been good, but it's been beloved worldwide. I am talking low, but still. Oh boy, I'm gonna be making a wisdom saving throw, and all of you as well. I wasn't planning on doing anything tonight other than playing Helldivers 2, but no. I'm making this, and then tomorrow I'm going to be making my D&D guide. This might as well be my segue. Let's get into this. So,
The idea that this tabletop game is some major influence on fantasy.
it has had a major influence on fantasy. One of your commenters pointed out that it had a influence on Zelda. The creator of Zelda has said that a couple of years ago. My brother in Christ, you're stupid.
On video games, on
Yeah,
culture in general is.
yeah, it has. It's still massively popular. It's just the fact that the whole OGL drama kind of killed some of its popularity, but you know, it's still popular.
Laughably stupid. D&D
You're laughably stupid.
is just a cheap knockoff product.
My brother in Christ. Let me get close. Zelda is a cheap knockoff product, not D&D. Wizards of the Coast and D&D have been around longer than your precious Zelda. Oh my god.
Heavily influenced by superior fantasy writers.
I am going to smack a man. I want to smack you. It might have been influenced, but D&D overall has been influential.
Like Tolkien. D&D
Yeah, because you have hobbits. I mean halflings. Don't sue me. Because
is nothing special.
no, it is completely special. You just don't have friends.
The only thing notable about it is that people used to play it in their basements in the 70s.
Pro tip. We still do. I'm joking, of course. I mean, yes, people still play D&D, but you can play it online. You can play it online. You can play it in person. I mean, come on, Harman.
Right? When everybody else was like, I don't know, hanging out at arcades or having fun.
The only reason why we even play player. Oh my god, Harman, you lost historical context. Oh boy, here we go. The only reason why D&D players were afraid to play Dungeons and Dragons openly was because of the Satanic Panic. Because of a person named Tipper Gore. Look it up, and you'll learn. And this will be my helping of keeping my sanity, but still, Tipper Gore was the reason why D&D was feared in the 80s. It is still a very fun kids game. Well, not kids game, but it's a game for all ages, but still, it's a very fun game. I play it. In fact, I'm part of a D&D Discord server for my college. I'm part of two content creators that play D&D. I'm part of two other D&D Discord servers, one of which has been kind of inactive because personal reasons, and I also have my own IRL group. And I also have a D&D podcast, by the way. I'll probably end up linking it sooner or later.
Or like just doing whatever, right? Like D&D is and always has been a complete joke.
No, you've always been a complete joke. D&D has been popular, has evolved, and people still play it. Because, and not to mention, you have conversion systems based off of 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. You have other game systems that have been based kind of around the D20 system that Dungeons and Dragons created. You are stupid.
And it does kind of feel like recently a lot of people have been trying to weaponize D&D to try and ruin certain other things in society.
Oh no. Oh no, people are playing Baldur's Gate 3. Oh no, people are getting into D&D because of BG3 and Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. By the way, I will be writing that script as well as writing several other scripts for reviews.
Right? The most recent example, I think, being Baldur's Gate 3.
Well, let's see here. I would love to do... You know what? I'm doing this. Is Baldur's Gate under the D&D IP? The third main title, Baldur's Gate 3, was developed by Larian Studios in partnership with Wizards of the Coast, which holds the license for the Dungeons and Dragons IP. There you go.
In which a lot of people try to use the D&D license to weaponize it against Zelda. Like, oh,
My brother in Christ. They did try weaponizing it against Zelda. They just made a very fun video game that felt like actually playing Dungeons and Dragons. Get it through your damn. I'm trying to remain calm. Let's get through this.
oh, this is way better than Zelda because it's
Yeah, it is because you have dynamic storytelling.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, it's not just Dungeons and Dragons, it has dynamic storytelling. Like you get to create your character, or you have freedom of choice. I'm being serious. Seriously, if you want to be a murder hobo in Baldur's Gate 3, go for it. If you want to be the best person, go for it. If you want to be accurate to your D&D character, go for it.
You know, completely failing to acknowledge that D&D has not had the impact on culture
It has. You're just too stupid to realize.
the way Zelda has.
Zelda has not.
It's not as inspired.
It is inspired. D&D is inspired because you just mentioned Tolkien. J.R.R. Tolkien, the creator of Lord of the Rings, the massive franchise that has had 3 film adaptations of The Hobbit, several comics, several video games. It has been heavily inspired by Tolkien's work, but was turned into its own thing.
As Zelda has, it hasn't innovated
I'm sorry, what?
in culture the way Zelda has. It's not as inspired as Zelda has. It hasn't innovated the way Zelda has. It's not like a culturally defining thing.
It is a culturally defining thing. It's called the culture of nerds, which you fail to be. And also, by the way, no, I'm not going to get into this.
Like Zelda is, right? Like D&D is big in its niche and nothing.
Its niche being tabletop role-playing games. No. Nope. No. It's big in tabletop role-playing games, like Warhammer 40k. It is like Vampire the Masquerades is. I have been introduced to other systems because of RPG horror stories.
Nothing more, right? Zelda's going to get a big budget Hollywood movie in the near future.
Oh no, Zelda did not get that before Dungeons and Dragons.
Sure. And what does D&D have? Like mazes and monsters?
Let's see here. D&D has a massive nerd culture. Free advertisement from Stranger Things. Several successful video games like Neverwinter and Baldur's Gate 3. And oh yeah, a film adaptation called Old, and I'm gonna get real close. It's called Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. That's right, D&D got a film adaptation before Zelda, you stupid idiot. Oh boy.
Like, come on. Like, what does D&D have? Like Counter Monkey videos?
Who the F is Counter Monkey?
Like, it has Spoonie like talking about the toilet pizza and like
Huh? Should I write these ideas down? Nah.
vegan Steve. Like, no. Like, the reality is D&D is just a way for adults to pretend like they're kids again.
Oh, just like you do when you get excited about Nintendo. I enjoyed myself.
You know, pretend they're going off on some crazy adventure
That's the reason why D&D is enjoyable.
instead of like, actually doing something productive in
You do realize D&D is a very fun hobby where you get to create your own character, go on crazy adventures and have very goofy things happen, get attached to your character, and actually have fun.
real life, right? The
Dude, you know a lot of people actually do D&D content creation for their job. It's called reading RPG horror stories, or being Critical Role, or Dimension 20, or any D&D podcast. But a lot of folks have real life jobs outside of D&D. You are an idiot.
reality is D&D is just a waste of everyone's time.
No, the reality is you're a waste of everyone's space. And you're a waste of oxygen.
You are better off reading actual fantasy.
No. Because actual fantasy takes too long. D&D, you actually participate. Your choices matter. Let me provide a very, very wonderful example that one of my players has actually done. So I had a very, very powerful blue dragon that was on my player's side. This was like the second long form campaign I've ran. Yeah, second long form campaign I ran, and one of my players was playing a absolute idiot of a character, but we all enjoyed it anyway. This character decided I am going to talk smack to this very powerful dragon who had the exact power of a great worm. So I had him roll a dexterity saving throw, and lo and behold, consequences meet actions meet consequences. I rolled a crap ton of dice, and he was downed. But combat didn't start because everyone else was pretty much telling him not to. And not to mention there was like a big undead army, so yeah.
You are better off playing actual RPGs
Like Baldur's Gate 3.
on your Nintendo console,
Of course, he brings up Nintendo.
right? Final Fantasy is better, right?
Is it?
Dragon Quest is better.
Is it?
Right? SMT, like all of these
SMT. My brother in Christ, are you having a stroke? Actually, that would be funny.
franchises have just kind of like demolished the D&D model. They're
No, they haven't demolished it. They more of adopted it and just ran with their own thing. That's it.
more creative, they're more innovative, they have better art styles, they have like more interesting mechanics. Like, what has D&D done?
Create generations of nerds, inspired content creators, actually inspired a book series. called can't remember off the top of my head. Fuck. Inspired an entire movie. Well, technically an entire trilogy, but we're not going to talk about it. But it inspired an entire movie. Inspired the Legends of Vox Machina. Inspired Zelda. Inspired a lot of things, Harman. Oh, and also there was D&D-esque mechanics in Knights of the Old Republic. How could I forget?
To really earn its spot
It has earned its spot. You just don't know it.
as this thing that people pretend to care about.
People do not pretend to care about it. Have you not have you not seen what happened last year with the OGL? Like, oh my god. Have you not been there during the OGL crisis? Where everyone was pissed that the OGL was changed to where if you were a content creator, you'd have to switch. You would have to switch to a different freaking system that you have to learn. I am being serious. You have to switch to a different system that you have to learn. And a lot of people were mad, and not to mention D&D wanted all these third-party systems like Shadowrun, Fallout, a lot of these third-party systems to pay them to use, well, a lot of third-party systems that were just conversion systems, but still to pay them money to use D&D. That's why a lot of people were pissed. Anyway, moving on.
Like, the reality is nothing, right? Like, I think it's safe to say that D&D is essentially what it is because woke
Oh my god, he is about to... Okay.
audiences can simply make the game as woke or anti-woke as they want.
You hit the nail right on the head. The power of imagination. And yes, I did the SpongeBob hand motion. But the power of imagination is what fuels Dungeons and Dragons. It is not being woke. It's not being anti-woke. You can add political stuff to your game, but make sure the political stuff is fictional. Like, one of my rules at my table, and I forgot to tell my players this, and I forgot to tell all my players this, but they know not to include politics. Because that would involve upset feelings. Like, the only politics I actually would involve will be the politics of the game world I made. That's it.
Right? The reality is people were able to take over the D&D sphere
The D&D sphere has always been taken over by people. Your problem is
the same way they were able to take over the comic book sphere.
people took over the comics. Well, why are you complaining about?
Is that, like, nobody with an IQ higher than 90 really cares about this stuff.
So you, because you're talking about D&D, don't have IQ above 90. Every time you say something, Harman, you're stupid.
Right? That's the issue here. Is that D&D was taken over, or I suppose was always handled by these kind of social rejects.
You're a social reject. Have you not noticed?
D&D was always very woke.
Yeah, because if you wanted to be a bard, you could sleep with everybody in a town. If you're a barbarian and wanted to be a murder hobo, you could kill everybody in a town. Your problem? Hmm.
And so people were willing.
Actually, wait. Common joke in D&D. A bard wants to F a dragon. That's that is the common joke. A bard always wants to F a dragon.
To defend the brand in spite.
Yeah, because we want the brand to stay the same. Wouldn't you if Zelda was? The more I watch this video, the more I question: is Harman mentally ill?
Spite of its inferior qualities to other products like it because it was woke.
No, we don't like it because it's woke. We like it because it's fun. We like it because we get to be goofy idiots. Some of us like it. Oh, fick.
With Lord of the Retro World, right? Because they could use it to further their agenda and like normalize certain social trends. And
Okay, we're not trying to normalize social trends, but as I was saying, we like it because it is fun. We like it because we get to use our imaginations. We like it because we get to do goofy shit. And some of us like it because we get RPG horror stories from it. And by the way, I will be reading RPG horror stories. It's just the fact that first D&D guide.
try to convince people that like orcs are racist or whatever.
I mean, if you have a combat heavy class, I mean, every race has sort of a bit of a racism. If you play D&D, like you could call a tiefling a hellspawn or horns. You could call it dragonborn you can call it dragonborn scales. Ales. You could call an orc big dumb idiot. You can call an elf ears. D&D has always been racist. You could be racist in D&D just don't. And not to mention, if you are running a combat heavy, I mean, if you're running a strict world where you want a singular bad race, then orcs are usually the default. So, problem?
Right, deliberately trying to subvert what Tolkien accomplished
You do realize that the orcs have been evil in Lord of the Rings, right?
with Lord of the Rings, essentially. Like this is
I mean, you could make your campaign in the Lord of the Rings setting. What's the problem?
a culturally subversive brand.
Nah.
People always like to bring up the Satanic Panic, but
Yeah, because the Satanic Panic really did kill some of the. I mean, it still exists and it still kills some of the excitement some people have when it comes to playing D&D. It's like people don't understand that D&D is not satanic. D&D is just playing fun dice game and being stupid idiot. That's it. That's all there's to it.
in reality, those people had a point.
Oh, nope. Nope. Nope.
Listen here, you Nintendo. Those people do not have a point. The only reason why the Satanic Panic happened is because of Tipper Gore, and people are uninformed. That is it. Do your freaking research.
Moving on.
People who play D&D were exhibiting weird behaviors.
Yeah, it's called being a nerd. Dumb.
You know, people who played D&D did turn out like Spoonie,
Who?
right? They refused to work real jobs.
People who play D&D work real jobs. It's just the fact that some people who play D&D happen to be a content creator, and that is a job. Your point is...
They spend their days just languishing in like former glory on some like board game they had when they were 15.
You did not just call D&D a board game. You did not just call D&D a board game. You did not just call D&D a board game. You did not just call D&D a board game. I will send this video to my D&D group chat as well as to the Discord server or the D&D group for the D&D club at my college. I will do it because this man needs more dislikes.
Okay, like their entire identity revolves around Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, just like your identity revolves around Nintendo?
Like, how lame is that?
You know, people could reverse that logic on you. And holy crap, this is actually the first time I'm watching a Harman video, and I don't feel confused about the fact that he's going on a side tangent.
Like, it's almost impossible to separate Baldur's Gate 3 from Dungeons and Dragons.
Probably because Baldur's Gate is under the D&D IP.
Did you ever think of that?
To me personally, and I've addressed this before, it really does feel as if like all the competitors to Nintendo, in the current year, it's not about the consoles anymore.
It still is about the consoles. It's just about what games are on the consoles. You stupid freaking idiot.
Right? Because like Nintendo beat all the consoles. It's not about like.
You did not just say that. This is as worse as his PC video. Oh boy. Nintendo is not beating the consoles. Because the consoles are still alive. In fact, Nintendo's not beating PC because Steam still has over 73,000 games, while Nintendo has 4,550.
Like the other competitive video game franchises, because there are none. Like
there are plenty. There are plenty, Harman Smith. There are plenty. In fact, WoW is getting a new expansion. Diablo 4 is getting a new expansion. Various video games are either getting sequels or expansions. Your point?
Like, it's about, like, the established brands.
Nah.
You know, when you look at, like, Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah. Talk about Hogwarts Legacy. Go on.
The Harry Potter license. When you look at...
Gee, I wonder why. Probably because it says Hogwarts?
Baldur's Gate 3?
Gee, I wonder why. It says it in cooperation with Wizards of the Coast, who happen to own D&D, the Dungeons and Dragons IP, which Baldur's Gate lines right under.
It's the Dungeons and Dragons license.
Yeah. You hit the nail right on the head because Wizards of the Coast owns Dungeons and Dragons, and thus Baldur's Gate is under the D&D IP. And D&D is owned by Wizards.
Right? We're not competing with video game franchises anymore.
The console war is mostly about which console has video games. Get it through your skull. Oh wait, your skull's too thick to get that through. Okay, never mind.
It's entirely competing against established brands that have like all this overlap across all these different genres, right?
Nah.
Just look at how many people cry about like Warhammer 40K. Oh,
do not talk about Warhammer.
It's so badass. Oh,
Yeah, because it is. You're in a grimdark universe where everybody hates everybody. You're playing the villain constantly. It doesn't matter what faction you are. I mean, you have the orcs who are just big, dumb, and stupid. And I think purple is the stealthiest color because have you seen the purple orc? You have the dark eldar who just like torturing people because they don't want to be consumed by Slanesh, a chaos god. You have the Imperium of Man, these zealotous xenophobes. You have the Necrons, who are pretty much the Terminator, who are pretty much Terminators, but but green.
It's completely safe from woke culture.
Yeah, it actually is because once again, you're trying to murder each other.
Even though the Emperor of Man is a woman now, and
There's only. Okay, hold on. I'm doing this on my phone. Oh wow, what do you know? The Emperor of Mankind is still a man. I mean, there you have female Adeptus Custodes, which I'm fine with, because you also have another faction that guards the Emperor called the Sisters of Silence. Yes, I'm a 40k fan. Don't judge me.
and nothing cool has happened ever. Like,
A lot of cool things have happened. The fall of Cadia, which, by the way, I might have upset a few Warhammer 40k fans. But still, the fall of Cadia. The creation of Slanesh. The fact that for Warhammer, that humanity is still going on after the God Emperor was almost killed by his son in the Horus Heresy. And also, Exterminatus.
again, this is the reality we're in.
This is the reality you're in, Harman. The reality we're in, we're seeing Warhammer as badass, we're seeing D&D as fun, and we're seeing you as an idiot.
Right? Is that people will blindly worship the brand.
Oh no!
Oh no, he's hitting himself in his confusion.
Just because it's the brand. No matter how like terrible it is or how much like some other company stomps it.
Like Nintendo? Hmm?
Like the reality is D&D was never anything special.
The reality is Nintendo was never really anything special because Nintendo barely innovates. I mean, yes, they have very good franchises, but I can use those words against you, Harman. Nintendo is nothing special. It's just a company that makes video games. That's nothing special.
The reality is video games have long ago surpassed the tabletop RPG format.
No, they haven't because D&D is still around and alive and kicking. Warhammer 40k is still alive and kicking. I mean, you have virtual tabletop, which, hey, D&D has moved virtual to virtual. What do you know? But still, you have Warhammer 40k, D&D, Vampire the Masquerades, the tabletop. I can go on and on about tabletop systems, Harman. But D&D will remain one of the most popular tabletop role-playing systems ever made. And that is a fact. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm trying to contain my rage tonight because it's like I'm recording this at night, so this is definitely me trying to control every ounce of hate and rage. I would have loved to yell, but I'm not going to. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all when I make my D&D guide.